This is Dave LaGreca from Busted Open, and you are now somewhere in the ring.
The following podcast is scheduled for one recording with no time limit. Making their way down to somewhere in the ring, Andrew Sanford and Ryan Sprague.
He is he's like the preeminent godfather of ufology. He's just the sweetest, brightest computer scientist, astronomer, folklorist, academic, best-selling author. The dude is like, if I could be half the ufologist he was, oh man.
But you're doing great.
I'm trying.
Had you talked to him before? That seems like a big get.
Once I had him on 2 years ago when he had a book come out. He just had what many believe will be his final book in this 6-part series he's been writing for the past 62 years. He's been writing these books. It's called Forbidden Science, all about his adventures in investigating UFOs throughout the years. And I mean, dude, he's been in like the most top secret classified government UFO programs. He created the first version of like AI, so we have him to blame for that.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was one of the guys who helped invent the internet, to be honest. Yeah.
Cool.
And he just so happens to be an incredible human being and UFO researcher too. So
nice.
It was a huge honor, but it turned into what I thought was going to be a brief interview, turned into an hour and 30 minutes of just incredible conversations. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And now Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber. We're leaving all that, by the way. This is Somewhere in the Ring where we talk about wrestling. I'm Andrew Sanford. This is Ryan Sprague. And look, Ryan is a very successful ufologist, so you're welcome that you got to just hear him chat about that a little bit. You know what I mean? Dagnabbit. That's exciting stuff. But we are going to be talking Elimination Chamber today. We're going to be talking several Elimination Chambers and also something. I almost want to throw something at you.
Please.
Because I think we went into this being like, oh, we'll do our favorite Elimination Chambers. And I realized I was like, oh, I don't. Like, I had to go through. Now I want to watch all of them because even the one I watched, I was like, oh, that was fine. That was okay. Like, I picked the one I was like, ooh. Like, spoilers, the one I picked was from 2008, and it was an ECW specific Elimination Chamber that brought weapons in, which I thought was a really fun idea. Like, each person is in a pod with a weapon. But the way that the match played out was strange. You're gonna have to
I'll
walk you through that. Yeah, okay. Absolutely. No, I'll be totally fine with that. I'm excited to hear. I haven't watched. I know you picked the first Elimination Chamber, and to be clear, aside from the Hell in a Cell, which I love, Elimination Chamber is probably my favorite match stipulation, or maybe even aside from like Royal Rumble. I almost don't count Royal Rumble. But I love the idea of the Elimination Chamber. It's my favorite thing to play in the video games. I'm excited for the event. They've been really good in recent years. But going back to the early days was rough.
It was rough. It was a lot of experiments going on. And you know what? I actually have right here. I threw this together right before we got on here. Did you know, fun fact, that, several people have sort of taken credit for the Elimination Chamber, but apparently Triple H is the one who came up with the idea. I have a quote from him. Do you want to hear it?
Oh, of course I do.
Okay.
But you got to say it like this. No, don't do that. Don't hurt yourself.
Look at what register I'm at. You think I can get that low? I'll try. Let me see here. So
Triple H sounds like a smoker, and he sounds like a smoker, and I would believe he's never smoked a cigarette in his life. Like it was, you know what I mean?
Well, you know what happened to him? It happened in my Elimination Chamber match.
Oh, I did know about this. Sorry, keep going.
We'll get
look
there.
At me interrupting. Go ahead.
Could be a reason for that raspy voice, but Triple H took credit for the creation of the Elimination Chamber. He said, quote, "I'm the one who invented it. I drew a square cage and put 4 other squares in the corners, and I said, it's 6 guys. 2 start, and every few minutes another cage opens, and one more guy enters the fight, and everyone fights until there's 1 guy left. I thought it could be interesting because if the superstars involved have issues, Then there's intrigue. In typical WWE form, however, it was twice as big as I envisioned and twice as elaborate. We don't do anything small, so I should have known better. When I stood in it for the very first time, I thought, Jesus, please don't tell anybody this is my idea. So he regretted it when he first got in there, and now it's become like super iconic.
It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's funny too because they, if I remember correctly, kayfabe wise, they had it presented as Eric Bischoff's brainchild.
Yes.
Leading up to the original, which worked because he, I believe, is responsible for the triple cage, the most dangerous, ill-advised, awesome match that I would love to see come back.
It will. It will.
It would. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like if it would have already, if that makes sense. And for those who aren't familiar, the triple cage was basically a Hell in a Cell with a normal cage on top of it. But then that also had a cover. And then above that was just a smaller cage, like the size of a shed. And that's where the title belt was. I think you had to get up there to get the belt. And it was featured prominently in 1999's Ready to Rumble. Was that 99? It probably was 99 because 99 is often considered one of the best years for film. So
you in
Royal
that
Rumble
movie,
likely, or did it come out in 2000? I bet it came out in 2000. We have to watch it.
I know we do. I really want to. We got to make it happen. Well, all right, Edge. Before we get to the Elimination Chambers, it will play into some of the news we have, but let's get to the news first. We haven't done like a news segment in a super long time. Not a ton going on right now. We're in that weird road to WrestleMania where they're playing it safe. But however, does playing it safe involve releasing 11 people? Because that's our first news story.
Yeah. Ooh, nice
this is
graphic
crazy,
there.
man.
Yeah. Occam and Razor, man. I like Authors of Pain. They were not used super well. That being said, something I learned about them is they tried to start their own promotion and then like screwed up, and then we're spoken about negative. Like they tried to launch some show and then canceled it like a month beforehand, something that. Or like really, yeah. There's some funky stuff going on with those two. But yeah, 11 people.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's just this time of year. I get it. It's one of those tough, like realistic aspects to the business. The one that I think is the wildest for me is Sonya Deville, because she is technically not released yet. She was just told her contract wasn't going to be renewed. Like she was on SmackDown on Friday. I loved her and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks in the Rumble this year. I thought they were great. Like, so that was a bummer. It's
big bummer. I mean, she had just come back from a horrible injury that left her out for like over a year. I was really pulling for her because I liked her. She did some great backstage promos before she started getting back in the ring when she came back. But let me go through the names here and then
please.
We'll break this down just a little bit more. We had the Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering. We had Blair Davenport, who like just got called up and didn't get used at all. We have Sonya Deville.
I believe, if I remember correctly, just real quick, a little bit of like, it's more gossip than anything else, but I believe Blair Davenport is with Will Ospreay.
She was. They recently.
Oh, she was. Okay, yeah, and she's actually married to somebody else now. So never mind. Bully Ray is wrong.
I saw that rumor.
Yeah. Come on, Bully Ray. Come on.
So what did he say? He said he thinks that's why.
He basically thought that she was released that suddenly like that as payback for Will Ospreay's comments about Triple H 6 months ago. Which I was just going to bring up as that's why that's why you don't trade in gossip. But who knows? Yeah. I doubt that now, especially knowing that she is newly married to someone else. But
I listen to Busted Open almost every day of the week. I would listen to it every morning. I love Bully Ray. I think he's one of the smartest, creative wrestling people out there. But I just can't. I don't see this one. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
And I also think he hates a little too much on AEW. Like I think he's just signed a legend contract with WWE.
I was about to say he's definitely a homer. He's definitely he knows where
Yeah.
he's getting his money from.
That's true.
Which I
That's
understand.
true.
But it's also like, look, I really thought this was going to be a big year for AEW, and they've kind of stumbled out of the gate. So
Yeah,
I think a lot of criticism towards them has been warranted because they just don't. There's a lot they don't know what they're doing.
Absolutely, man. We
And
had,
and the fish rots from the head down,
as they say. You always say that.
I always say that. Always.
We also had the release of Cedric Alexander, Giovanni Vinci, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Isla.
Isla. I think it's Isla. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who was a recent tag team champion of all things.
Yep.
And the last one announced, and the reason she's kind of off to the side there a little bit in our image here on YouTube is because she was it was later discovered she was released, and that was Elektra Lopez from the
Wild
La Fantasma de what is it? Phantasma. Let's just go with that. I don't remember.
Right, yeah, with yeah, I know. Right. Yeah, and she was on TV on Friday too, I believe.
Yep, she was. She was.
Yeah, so it's very sudden, very weird. It's one of those tough things where at least there's more wrestling out there right now. They're not getting released into the wild. Cedric Alexander will probably be an AEW before you know it to join his Hurt Business partners, or after the 90-day no compete clause. Which I wonder, is that still legal? I think the no compete clauses were done away with last year, but them being done away with might have also been done away with within the last month. So I'm not sure.
It's all over the place because I know like people like Ricky Starks, who we'll talk about in just a moment. Like there ain't no 90 days there, man. He's already made his decision, which we'll get
and I wonder like what Tony, because he's one of 3 who are released who can just kind of jump in whenever they want.
Yep.
And he being CM Punk's boy, it makes sense that he was like the first. I saw Fightful comparing it to Lex Luger showing up on Monday Night Raw or Monday Night Nitro after being like it did feel like that. It has that kind of energy. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's very exciting. I can't wait to see what happens with all 3 of them. We will get to that in a moment. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up to piggyback off of what you said. There's so many places for these people to go. It's no longer the days of like, oh my God, these people's careers are over. This is a bad sign. Like, almost every single one of these people are going to go to TNA, AEW, New Japan. And there's, I think it was, what's his name? The cowboy sort of guy, WWE legend. Oh my gosh, he was why is his name escaping me? Good Lord. He was in the APA at one point.
Oh, Bradshaw.
Thank you, Bradshaw.
JBL, the cowboy
JBL.
guy. Sure.
Why can I not remember that? JBL, dude, said like the same thing as you did. He said, this is a huge opportunity for all of these people. Like they might not realize it today, but they will tomorrow when endless offers start coming in. And surprisingly, for more money than they're probably making at WWE for more work.
Maybe.
So
it's
cool.
One of those tough. Yeah, it's like when you think about the only like Sonya Deville was being used, so she's got that big pop. Like Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows haven't been on TV in a while. They'll probably be fine in New Japan though. The Authors of Pain, they kind of like took Karrion Kross and pushed him by himself without them. There's the people I feel like bad for. Like I feel like Giovanni Vinci got like buried.
Oh, he got buried old school.
He got kicked out of Imperium months ago, and has just been kind of languishing, and now he's been released. So
he had those 2 squashes against Apollo Crews. Like oh my God, how unbelievably demeaning. And then and apparently they were super hot on him. Like that's why they had those really cool promos where he was like, the rich European with the Cadillac. And they were really, a lot of the creative team, writers and whatnot, were ready to push this guy. And then somebody came in and said, nope, Nope, we're going the opposite way.
Yeah.
It's very
Oh,
unfortunate.
boy.
He's a great wrestler, but
they all. Who do we got? Yeah, absolutely. I like everybody here. Yeah. So who do we got from AEW? Yeah, there he is.
There he is, baby. So Ricky Starks made his debut on NXT last night, I believe it was.
Mixed race hero, man. I saw him do an interview. Did an interview recently where he was just like, "I'm half white and half black," and people don't give me credit that for all the time. And I was like, I see you, my dude.
I see you.
I see you. Yep.
I even have a Twitter handle, past Twitter handle of that. Yeah.
I'm so like I'm excited. I thought you could feel the energy when he showed up, which was really cool. Yeah. Like there have been like rumors that I want to see Punk lead a stable again. And I think like, Starks would make sense and maybe some other folks, but yeah, it's exciting. And I'm glad that they just threw him right in the mix in NXT.
Yep.
Why not?
That's the way to do it. I mean, he came in one day after leaving AEW. Again, just a huge sort of, I don't want to say FU to Tony Khan, but yeah, kind of an FU. Like, all right.
No, I would almost, it's not an FU if you're allowed. Does that make sense? Like there's
did ask for his release.
Yeah, like this, I'm sure they knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure they knew he was just gonna. Yeah, no, not at all for like a year. And if anything, I'm bummed that Danhausen wasn't part of this crew. Like because they finally just started using him.
Love that guy.
But a lot of punk people suffered after he was let go.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what Starks brings. I am also excited for Malachi Black, formerly. Oh, what the heck was his name in WWE?
I don't remember. I wasn't watching at that time.
I'm excited to see him come back. He's a big Triple H guy. And what's even crazier is his contract was supposed to go to like 2027 or something like that in AEW. So like he must have really been unhappy. The one that I don't think will migrate over is Miro, formerly Rusev.
Yeah.
Which is the release. Because he was not happy in WWE when he quit. Like he was already not happy. And then he moved over to AEW and then was not used. And who knows? Maybe if he gets to come back with like a better gimmick, because the Rusev stuff was dumb. I'm like, I don't see him going. I would see him going to like a TNA or a New Japan or something like that. I don't see him going to AEW. But I think Malachi Black. I was surprised he wasn't in the Rumble.
Yeah,
apparently he's been released for a little bit. So
yeah,
I have no non-compete clause.
I was gonna say I have a sneaking suspicion he's already signed that dotted line. I think so.
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to see him like mix it up with the Wyatt Six or something. Like I feel like they're going to keep his same kind of. He had like an Undertaker kind of gimmick when he was in WWE, and he kept that in AEW. But then again, I say that as if they're hot on the Wyatt Six right now, and it does not seem like WWE is hot on the Wyatt Six whatsoever.
Good boy.
The only thing they're doing was so funny, and this makes sense. Because like Authors of Pain, I would think of Wyatt Six as like great video game wrestlers, where it's just like, oh, if you have them in a video game and kind of can do whatever you want with them, they play a little bit better. It works a little bit more. Same with the Authors of Pain, but then when you get them out in a ring, it's just like, wait, what is this? What am I watching?
What's going on here?
They killed Chad Gable. They shot him in the head. Is that what happened? Okay.
We will never forget that, writers of the WWE. We will never forget that.
So funny.
We forgive, but we don't forget. Man. Good things on the in the future, I think, for Ricky Starks here. There's one other weird news story. It's not even really a news story, but I wanted to get your thoughts on these names. So it came to light that the WWE recently trademarked a ton of new names for the roster. I'm just going to go through these. You may have no comment on this, or I don't know, but listen to these names.
Okay.
Osiris Griffin, Hayes Jameson, Trill London.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm still stuck on Osiris Griffin.
Man, this is gonna take a while.
Oh boy, this is gonna take a while. This is gonna take a bit. That's Oh man, I feel like that's some kind of like weird. That sounds like an Egyptologist that is going to that also like moonlights as some kind of like Indiana Jones type. That is such a. Oh boy.
I like
okay,
that.
sorry. What was the next one?
I like that. Hayes Jameson.
Jameson. Okay.
Trill London. Harley Riggins. Summer Sorrell. Jax Presley. The hits keep coming in.
That Jax with an X?
With an X. Of course it is.
Okay.
What?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's Jacks. Would that be so out of line with all the other nonsense you've just said?
Mason Holiday. Get ready for this one. Draco Knox. With an X.
I don't hate that one. I don't know why.
Tate Wilder. Braxton Cole. Chantel Monroe. And Aria Bennett.
If I was able to go in today to the National Lampoon offices, whoever owns them, and be like, I have a sequel to Van Wilder that you are gonna love, and it's about his son. Before I would even get it out of my mouth, they would be like, Tate Wilder? You want to call him Tate Wilder? And I'd be like, yes, same page. His name is Tate Wilder, and people call him Taint or something. I don't know. That's wow.
And then they kick you out of the office because WWE owns it.
Owns it. Yeah. That's fair.
I just got a kick out of those. I had to share those.
Wow. Yeah. No, those are great. It's so funny. Yeah. I just because we'll never, we won't know until we know. But just the idea that they are still in this day and age where like kayfabe is not dead but close to dead. The idea that they are still making people wrestle under pseudonyms is very funny to me. Just kind of, I know it's about control and being able to control their characters and stuff like that. But it's pretty silly. It's pretty silly stuff.
It's very silly, but I honestly can't wait for Osiris Griffin to grace our silver screens. That's for sure.
Yeah. Whip and a fedora.
Going through the pyramids. I'm gonna quickly go through some recaps of SmackDown and Raw. Only because we had some Elimination Chamber qualifying matches. So on SmackDown, we saw Bianca Belair versus Piper Niven, with Bianca Belair winning. We also had Jimmy Uso versus LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre, with McIntyre coming out the winner.
That was a great match. I didn't get to see a ton on Friday, but I saw that match and it was excellent.
Ooh, did you see the scuffle?
Oh, yeah.
The real, what people think was a real life scuffle between LA Knight and Drew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, talk about a SmackDown. Yeah.
And the only reason I think they're just playing into that personally.
I think so too.
Even talked. He talked like he made a reference to it. LA Knight on his way into the ring. But I love it. Like my thing is, I think McIntyre. I'm real big on McIntyre now, and I think one of the most exciting things is that they keep letting him like lean into the realism of his storylines. He kind of feels like there's always something actually going on in the things that he's doing. I think that works really well. I think he plays that really well, which is cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think they finally found his character. He found his character, and it's working beautifully.
Yep.
We also had Alexa Bliss, who took on Candice LeRae, and Bliss scored the victory. So she will be at the Elimination Chamber. The one thing, dude, how have they not given her a promo yet? She had this huge epic return from the Rumble, and she has not been on the mic yet.
I think they don't know what they want to do with her yet, because it's tough, because she has that Fiend Forever jacket.
Yeah.
And she's on SmackDown now with the Wyatt Six. And maybe she wants something to do with that, and they're trying to talk her out of it, because it would only hurt what she's capable of. Yeah, I think personally, I think the Wyatt Six would only drag people down at this point, which is a bummer. I don't want that to be the case, but I feel like they haven't. I think they need to try to find a new direction for her, and she was signed so quickly and so suddenly and brought back. so quickly and so suddenly that they just don't know yet.
Yeah,
that would be my guess.
Okay, that's totally fair.
But then again, I also said Cody Rhodes was going to relinquish the title because they said he was suffering from a bunch of injuries after the match with Kevin Owens. So
I did remember saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, look, I'm happy to be wrong. I don't necessarily want to see him go up against Cena, which I think might have. Right now, what's kind of nice is I don't know what's going to happen with that belt at WrestleMania, but we'll see.
That's the best we could ask for. That's the sign of keeping us watching. I mean, that's the point of all of this, isn't it?
Yep.
Raw recap: elimination qualifying matches saw Bayley versus Lila Valkyria, with Bayley coming out on top.
Great
and then
match.
last but not least, it was fantastic. Yeah. They shook hands at the end. Always love when they do that.
Yeah.
Always love that. The main event of Raw was Rey Mysterio versus LP, with P coming out on top to qualify for the Elimination Chamber, leaving us with 2 more spots left in both the women and men's Elimination Chamber, happening March 1st. So that's where we're at.
It's gonna be a good match. There was also a big Jey Uso picked Gunther as his opponent at WrestleMania.
Yeah, forgot about that.
I mean, it was kind of like a foregone conclusion, but pretty exciting. It's exciting. I think that build is going to be nice. I think that I know it's early, but I feel like that's going to be the match of the weekend for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
It's very excited about that. Very excited for Jay. Very excited for. I think they are a perfect combination. Which, like, if you asked me a few months ago, I probably would have been like, "Oh, maybe, I don't know." But seeing them work against each other, it's why I kind of wanted Jay to beat Gunther at Saturday night's main event. But I like that they're saving it. I like that they're saving it and had him win the Rumble. And it's almost like they took the Cody Rhodes storyline and like just smushed it real quick.
Yep.
Because he can't lose. Something that Bully Ray said that I 100% agree with recently is that they can't have Jay lose at WrestleMania. No. They just can't.
Nope.
It's not going to work.
He's too hot. And it's just
too hot, and I think people would just hate it. It would be a repeat of the Cody thing.
Exactly, man. He's going to become the face of the WWE. I have no doubt. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's where we're at right now. We have Elimination Chamber coming up March 1st. So you and I thought it would be fun to pick our favorite Elimination Chamber matches of all time. And then we have a special bonus one that you told me to watch that I'd never seen before, surprisingly, since it involved like my favorite wrestler. But
let's talk about that one first.
You want to do that one first?
Talk about that one first. Yeah, because I think that one of the 3 is probably the best one that we got. I watched this one recently and really enjoyed it. It was a good match.
Yeah, it was.
I forgot how much I loved Chris Masters. I was all in on Chris Masters and Carlito as a team. I loved that. I think everybody is kind of on their A game here. I think this is right before Kurt Angle like jumps ship.
Yeah,
I could be wrong on that, but it was great. And I actually watched this whole pay-per-view leading up to it. And the only thing that made me mad is I had the big thing at the end, which I remember this happening. I didn't watch this live when it came out, but I remember the big twist at the end. And what's funny is they're telegraphing it like the whole night. Like they earlier on, I'll just say it. Edge has this moment where he's like talking to Lita, and he's like, "No, I gotta go. I have to go do something. Like, just leave me. Like, I have to go do something else." And I can't remember if he was the first Money in the Bank champion. Or Money in the Bank. This was the first one. Okay, so maybe there's that. Like, people just didn't know when that could happen. But you have a brutal match with 5 very talented wrestlers in Kane. No, he's a talented wrestler. He just sucks. He was good, whatever. But you have 6 very talented wrestlers having a very good Elimination Chamber match that's spread out very well.
Yeah.
With Cena coming out on top. And then your boy jumps in after the match is over and takes him out and wins that spinner.
First of all, bloody match. I think everyone had color
at
one point.
Yeah,
and,
dude.
To see that much blood on John Cena was troubling. I'd never seen him that, quote unquote, hurt. And this was, like you mentioned, the first time a Money in the Bank thing was cashed in. So, it was a big deal. People were very surprised. And Cena was on the ground after winning this match. He beat who was he against? Shawn Michaels, was it? Who did he pin for the win? I forget.
Oh, jeepers. I thought it was one of Carlito or Chris Masters.
Okay.
Because weren't those the last two? I feel like those are the last two, and they were kind of like teaming up on him, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't. Oh man, and I just watched it literally 20 minutes ago. But anyways, John Cena is just exhausted. Huge match. He was one of the first in. So I mean, this was this was a big match, and then it wasn't like it is now, where like the music hits, they run down with the briefcase, and like I want to cash in. This was the match ends, and good old Vinnie Mac comes out and says, "Stop! Hold on, we're not done. Raise the cage, raise the chamber." Yep. And he says, "The money in the bank is being used. Come on, Edge." He like calls Edge out. There was like no suspense whatsoever.
No.
But it didn't take away from like the surprise of, oh my God, are we going to see a new champion tonight?
Right.
And
right.
We did. We did.
Yeah.
This was
pretty
Edge's,
great. Yeah, it started the
first championship.
Yeah, and he then changes it to the rated R spinner, which just god awful looking belts, just ugly, hideous,
worse
terrible,
than the spinner.
Awful looking belts. They're both bad. Any spinner version of anything looks like cold, uncaring ass. Like there's just nothing. I thought too. I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll look at these again, because I hated them at the time too. And I was like, maybe I'll look at it and I'll like it more. I don't. I think it looks awful. I think it's embarrassing. I think it's an embarrassing looking belt, which is it's almost more embarrassing than the ones now that are basically just the WWE symbol but big. And even those I'm getting kind of used to, but the spinner looks terrible. It just looks
bad.
It looks like a children's toy. Like it just looks bad. Yeah, it looks bad.
Although I will give Edge this: when he won it and put it on the ground, he spun it and he was able to stop it perfectly, like right side up, and kiss it. Like you could not have planned that better. Like, he clearly didn't mean to do it. But,
knows what he's doing, man.
apparently. It was a great. I'm so happy you recommended I watch this one, because you were like, go into it watching without knowing what's going to happen. And I will say, I was pleasantly surprised. I completely forgot that Edge was the first to ever cash in a Money in the Bank and become champion after that. So he set a precedent for sure. So thank you for bringing that one to my attention. Which one should we cover next?
Why don't you go with yours? Go with the
mine?
Yeah.
Cool.
Or no, actually, wait, sorry. Let's do mine, because I remember yours, and yours is better.
Well, first of all, can I just say, can I preface your match here? I had to alter this.
Off in my room. It's freezing.
Oh, okay. I had to alter the image here, Andrew, because for some reason, all of the promo art for this match had Sabu in it. And I had to insert Hardcore Holly into this image, because apparently Sabu was originally supposed to be in this match. I don't know what happened there or why he was taken out of it, but he was replaced by Hardcore Holly at the last minute, I guess.
I remember very specifically in one of the early iterations of ECW, in WWE, like the Tuesday night, what is now the NXT and stuff. When they had an ECW show, there was an early match that I watched with my little cousin Mario, who was like 10 at the time, like kind of a perfect age to get into wrestling. And I was like, ooh, we'll watch this. They're having Sabu against RVD. You're about to learn tonight. And it was one of the most awful botch-filled matches I've ever seen in my life. My cousin at one point, he's like, this is bad. Like, and he had never watched wrestling before.
I hate that.
It was rough. And a lot of that was on Sabu. RVD is one of the greatest wrestlers to ever get in the ring. And I think Sabu is a kind of product of ECW's, like the things that are less savory about it. I don't even know if savory is the right word. Just like I don't know. It was just a poor match, and I can only imagine he's had, like, backstage stuff happened quite a bit. So if I had to guess, they had to pull him at the last minute because it just wasn't worth it. And Hardcore Holly is more of like a workhorse and actually had like a lot of fun. I remember him having a lot of fun in ECW, even though he at one point got like his back sliced open in one of the most brutal things I've ever seen. Hardcore Holly went through a table and it's like just sliced his back, like just all the way down his back. And then he got like he almost died when he was in ECW, if I remember correctly. Like he got like a staph infection in one of his arms that almost took him out. Like, it was bad news. Yeah. So it was fun to watch him in this match, even if, to break it down for you, basically, the crowd already hot on CM Punk, who like was relatively new at the time in WWE. I remember when he showed up in his first promo, I was like, CM Punk, what kind of name is that? But I remember like the straight edge thing, all that was very interesting. And the crowd is so hot on him when it starts. And it starts with RVD and Hardcore Holly, and they're fighting. But then Big Show is out there with the Wise Man. I forgot the Big Show was a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah, he was. Yep.
Yeah, and so Paul Heyman's out there at ringside for him. And it does this weird thing where Hardcore Holly and RVD are wrestling, but then CM Punk comes in, everybody's clearly psyched. And then like Test was working for Paul Heyman. So he comes in, like he might not have even actually made it in before. Punk gets eliminated when there's still 5 other people in the mat, like when Big Show and Lashley at least are still in their chambers. Everybody is eliminated before Lashley gets out of his chamber, or no, almost, or before Big Show gets out of his chamber, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
I just watched it too. And what's even wilder is they have this moment. It feels like the whole night was meant to like push Lashley. And it works. He goes over with the crowd. They're very excited when he wins at the end. But the way they went about it just felt strange. Like they could have easily. He's this big, strong guy. Like, have him in at the beginning and have him muscle his way through everybody or something. Even when they have him bust, he gets locked in his pod. So there's a chance for like Test and Big Show to fight him together. But then he breaks out of his pod by using his table to puncture the top. Yeah. And I'm just like, just have him make one of the plexiglass not as strong and have him kick it down or something. Yeah. Like it was just very.
Think of like what that would like say to an audience.
Yeah.
Like, how powerful and strong this guy is.
Yeah. And this is, and this is when it comes down to him and Big Show wrestling each other, there was 5 minutes left. 5 minutes.
This is what pisses me off with the Royal Rumble when like someone comes in at number 29, number 30 and win. I'm like, yeah, anyone could have done that. Like they're so fresh. They just got to go in there and throw over people who've been in there for 25, 30, 40 minutes. I hate that. And this like could have been such a good match. And it wasn't, look, it wasn't terrible. I will say that.
No, it was just booked weird. It was just kind of convoluted and weird.
Yeah, it was just sloppy. But
it felt like too many steps, like to get to what they were going at.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we had weapons, right?
Yeah, which I was psyched for. I was like, yeah, put weapons in the chamber. I remember there was I forget what it was called, but WCW had a match where it was a cage match and there were weapons that were like jammed into the walls of the cage that they could take out whenever. And like, I know it's a different time, but like, yeah, it all felt strange. It also was just a weird like snapshot of WWE's time, like where WWE was at the time. Like Big Show has admitted like he wasn't at his healthiest then. This is like some of the last stuff for Hardcore Holly. I feel like this is some of the last stuff for RVD. Test passed away, unfortunately, not long after this.
I was going to say, this had to be one of Test's last.
Yeah, I think it was towards the end. Yeah. It's just a real bummer, man. So I watched it. I was like, ooh, I'm going to put this on. And then I was like, ooh, this is weird. This is a weird match.
So why did you choose this one? I have to ask.
Because I just thought it would be unique. I kind of picked it going like, you know what? I kind of remember when this was happening. I like the idea of, all the people in this match.
Yeah.
I love the Elimination Chamber. The idea of taking it and just adding weapons was really exciting. And then it was just just kind of poorly booked. It just kind of like dissolves in front of you. It's really strange.
That's totally fair. I do appreciate that you picked this one because it is very unique. They tried to shake things up a little bit, and it doesn't always win, but we did get a new champion that night.
Yeah, if anything, I would have picked like maybe a more recent one, but then even looking at the older ones, I was like, oh, Triple H has won 5 of these, I believe. So it's like it was just not something that I wanted to go to. And then I almost was going to pick the one that you ended up picking. But then I because that one's so firmly in my memory. But yeah, so let's go to that one. ECW, ECW in quotes, ECW with an asterisk, ECW kind of. ECW by way of Vince McMahon. It's just not the same.
That's fair. ECW meh. Got it. Got it.
There you go. Nailed it.
Well, let's move to a really good one. And this was the first ever Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight Championship. This took place at Survivor Series in 2002. Triple H was the heel, and he was the heavyweight champion at the time. And this is after SummerSlam of 2002, which is when Shawn Michaels wrestled his first WWE match. And he hadn't wrestled in 4 years. So that was his first match back.
It feels so much longer. Whenever I think back, I'm always like, oh, yeah, Shawn Michaels was on the shelf for like 7-8 years. Nope.
Not
that long. But he had that street fight where I remember him rocking the white tank top and jeans. And then in this Elimination Chamber, my man has brown tights for some reason. And I'll never understand it. I'll never understand that choice. They don't look bad, but they look weird. They look very strange.
They don't look good. I'll say that much. He did beat Triple H at that SummerSlam. After the match was over, Triple H attacked Michaels with a sledgehammer, and this match led to Michaels having a second match, which would be this Elimination Chamber match. Triple H was also in a feud with Kane at the time, so that's why Kane was involved in this one. And then we had Booker T, Rob Van Dam, and Chris Jericho, who were upper mid-carders at the time. So they decided to put
You don't know who Jericho was tag champs with at the time, do you? Was it Benoit?
That is a good question. It might have, you know what? I think it was Benoit. Yeah. Yeah, because I remember.
But just a stacked chamber. Like this is a stacked chamber. This is
it was like yours. Like it just any one of these guys could have won, and I would have been happy. Maybe not Kane, but
honestly, Kane. Then I would have been okay with it. You know what I mean. Glenn Jacobs sucks. Kane was rad, and I loved this version of. There are few things were as exciting for me as seeing Kane come off the top rope to give somebody a clothesline like that. That was some of my favorite spots. In WWE at that time. But yeah, these are all world champions. All 6 of them are world champions.
Totally, man. I will say this was like obviously a time for Shawn Michaels to really shine again, but this was like Rob Van Dam's match. This was a match that really showed off Rob Van Dam and what he was capable of doing. He just had some incredible spots throughout this match. One of which I guess you could sort of call it a botch. It was just simply, he's known for doing this frog splash off the top rope, but because he was in an Elimination Chamber cage, he couldn't get really the height that he needed to do the frog splash properly. And this would actually, Triple H was on the ground, and I'm going to just fast forward to this.
Oh, yeah, please.
Kind of the most notable part of this match. So he wouldn't hit the top of the cage. He just went out further instead of up further. He ended up hitting Triple H in the larynx and actually crushed Triple H's larynx to the point where Earl Hebner, the referee, he put up the X. He said, I'm stopping the match to get Triple H out. Triple H said no. He went against the referee and said, no, I got to finish this match. Like, we spent so much time on this. It needs to end the way it needs to end for it to have the greatest amount of impact. And he kept going after that. Dude had a crushed larynx, and he went on for the rest of this match. A true champion.
Insane.
A true
Yeah.
champion.
Oh man. My boy looks roided up though. I keep looking at this. And I just the other day was reading about Scott Steiner's time in WWE and how he was asked to take a steroid test, and he said, "I'll only do it if Triple H does it," and then neither of them ended up doing it.
That's what you got to do
with everybody. Yeah.
That's how you get. That's how you get past that.
It's so funny now to look at him now, healthy and taking care of himself, and smaller and older and all that stuff. But to see him like this 20 years ago, just looking insanely big,
it's insane, dude. Like, no, shoulders beyond belief, no neck. I mean, it's just it's roid rage to the nth degree. Incredible match. Everyone was amazing. Love Chris Jericho so much. Booker T obviously got to show off all his stuff. But by the end, everyone got eliminated, but Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and we got the super kick from Shawn Michaels, and that's when we thought it was over.
Crazy.
No, Triple H kicked out of it.
Excellent.
It was one of those amazing.
Come on, cool.
Oh, dude, just the crowd was loving it. The crowd got.
I bet.
And eventually, Michaels hit one more super kick, pinned him 1, 2, 3, and became the new world champion at the first ever Elimination Chamber match. Loved it. Like, this was the creation of a match that would eventually go on to have its own pay-per-view, and we're going to see that again March 1st.
Yeah, it's soon. And then Conan O'Brien hosting the Oscars the next night. It's going to be a big weekend for me.
Oh my gosh!
I'm very
wow.
excited.
Did you watch the Grammys, by the way?
No, absolutely not. Every year, this was the year that I forgot to post one of my favorite Simpsons clips when I like to be a little contrarian while people are watching the Grammys. I'll post the clip of Homer giving his Grammy to a bellhop as a tip. And he goes, "Oh, hey, an award statue." He says, "Oh, it's a Grammy," and he tosses it over the balcony, and then it lands and hits somebody, and the guy says, "Hey, don't throw your trash down here," and he throws it back up, and it hits Homer in the head. Grammys are trash. They're always going to be trash. Good for Beyonce, though. Happy for Beyonce.
I heard it was a pretty good show this year, but I can fully admit I never watched the Grammys.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm also happy for Chapel Rowan calling out companies for not taking care of young artists. That was pretty rad too. And it made an executive mad, so he went and wrote an op-ed about it in the Rolling Stone about how young people don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, poor baby.
Super Bowl I also did not watch. It was my good buddy Mikhail Page's birthday last weekend, and I took him out to dinner on that night, and we had the restaurant entirely to ourselves because everybody was too busy watching the sport where the league only just a few years ago stopped studying black people's brains differently than white people's brains. That's real. That's a real thing that they had to stop doing because they got taken to court. So not a fan of the NFL either, but happy for everybody. Go Birds. I like birds.
Pigeons do like
are great.
Birds. Yeah.
Pigeons are great. A brown thrush. I'll always stop to look at a brown thrush. So go Birds. Look, and that's not to say that the MLB, not everybody's perfect, but I've just gotten to the point in my life where I'm just like, if I can have a reason to not follow something, I will scratch it off nice and quick.
Yeah.
Pitchers and catchers report today for the Texas Rangers. That's why I'm all decked out. So
okay, I was wondering. You are particularly decked out today. It's
going to be a big year. I'm pretty excited. I'm trying not to get too excited because they are my beloved Texas Rangers, and they have let me down plenty in the past. But I got this World Series banner back there somewhere. It's going to be a year. I have to have something to look forward to.
I'm pulling for you, buddy. I am pulling for you. That's for sure. Well, hey, listen, we got some good stuff coming up on the show. We're going to be doing some match commentaries in the near future. Hopefully one in Elimination Chamber where we'll watch a match with our Patreon subscribers. They'll watch us watch a match. And then they can watch along.
Yep.
So, be on the lookout for that, guys. You can join our Patreon at patreon.com/somewhereskies. Help support us if you can. We love doing the show.
Somewhere in the Ring.
week.
You should also go to patreon.com/somewhereskies, but you can go to Patreon.
Did I? Oh, man.
Somewhere in the Ring. You got a brand, baby. That's okay.
I am on autopilot. Yeah.
Yeah, because you've been doing stuff all day.
Hey, Somewhere in the Skies is doing great. So I'm here to say, please support us at Somewhere in the Ring. So thank you for pointing that out.
No problem.
Somewhere in the Ring. What is it? Patreon.com/Somewhere in the Ring podcast. Links in the show notes, guys. Everything's down there. Social media, Blue Sky, the other thing that people do social media through. We're around. We're around. What do you got going on, buddy?
Oh, man, not a damn thing, honestly. It's going to be a slow month. We'll see. A lot of stuff cooking, a lot of irons in the fire, getting ready, but nothing that I can really talk about right now. So check out Chemistry Test, my short film on YouTube. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Chemistry Test on YouTube. You can check out my writing at pajiba.com as well as other great writing at pajiba.com. I just wrote about how I took my kids to their first movie in a movie theater yesterday. So there's stuff.
What'd they see?
Yeah, they saw Dogman. They had a great time. Great time. It was pretty great. Joy and I got to take Joy. It was Joy and I getting to see a movie together for the first time in almost 4 years. So it's very exciting. And we got to go with the boys, and they had a blast. And we had they had the theater almost entirely to ourselves. There was like one guy sitting in the back.
I love it.
Dogman, I guess. And then that was it. It was just us. It was great.
That's why I go to movies at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday afternoon.
What's funny is we went to a 10:45 showing because I wanted them to see it in Dolby. Like I was like, we're going to go see a screen that's as big as our house. And then if we had gone to the 10:15, there was a bus full of school kids that was at that showing. And no, thank you. No thanks. Glad they went to the movies. Glad their school is taking them to the movies. I did not need any of that.
You did not need to be a part of that. That's for damn sure. I love it.
No thanks.
Well, hey, you can also follow us on Letterboxd if we have movie fans out there. We're both
check out on Letterboxd, guys.
Dude, you got me hooked on that. You got me hooked on Letterboxd, and it's gotten me back to the movie theaters. It's really like reinvigorated that whole idea of going, watching, and just taking it all in. So I have you to
absolutely.
Thank. Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, my pleasure. I'll be at the movies tonight. I'm going to go see an advanced screening of The Monkey, which I have watched 0 trailers for because I am just in. I've
seen the trailer and I cannot wait to see it.
Longlegs was one of my favorite movies last year, so I am all about Osgood Perkins, the director, and it's a Stephen King story, and it's even crazier to me that Longlegs came out like last June, I want to say, sometime in the summer, June or July, and then he's already got another movie, less than a year, and he's already got another movie out. So I can't wait.
That's insane.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a duo right there. I can't wait to see it. Well, you have to let us know on Letterboxd what you thought of it, and
I will.
Yeah, let us know. But guys, we will see you next week as we are on the road to WrestleMania.
Who are we?
Oh, we are,
buddy.
I'm excited. Hey, I don't have anything to ring a bell. You got anything? Or should I just insert one post-production?
Just insert one. Let's do a little post-production. Okay. We've earned it. You've had a busy day.
That's fair. We'll just mime it. How's that sound? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, man, that sounded great.
Yeah,
that sounded awesome.
We were kind of in sync there, I guess.
I don't think so. But that's okay. Ryan, I love you, pal.
Make it in sync. I love you too. I love you. All right, we'll see you next week, guys.
Hey, bye, bye, bye.